You are not lazy. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are running a pattern and you haven't named it yet. Here's a sentence I have heard more times than I can count, in more versions than I can count. I know what I should be doing. I just don't do it. She knows she should set the boundary, but she doesn't. She knows the project is ready, but she keeps tweaking it anyway. She knows the decision is hers to make, yet she asks 4 more people what they think first. And every time she says the same thing about herself afterward. There's something wrong with me. I'm lazy. I'm too scared. I'm just not disciplined enough. I'm Mary Ellen. I run a community called Tools to Thrive Today for women in the middle of exactly this kind of season. And if you're new here, welcome. You picked a good week to join us. I spent years as a therapist sitting across from women saying that exact sentence. And here's what I came to understand over and over again. That story she's telling about herself is almost never true. What's actually happening is not a character flaw. It's a pattern. And patterns aren't random. They formed for a reason, a long time ago, usually because they protected you from something. The problem isn't that you have a pattern. The problem is that nobody ever helped you see it clearly enough to choose something different. So let's see it clearly. I want to walk you through the patterns I see most in myself and in the women I've worked with. See if you recognize yourself in any of these. The people pleaser says yes before she's finished hearing the request. Feels a small jolt of panic at the idea of someone being disappointed in her. It looks like kindness. Some of it is. But underneath, often, is an old belief that her worth is tied to how easy she is to be around. The perfectionist can't leave the house until the outfit is exactly right. Makes the same dish 4 times because it's still not quite how her mother used to make it. Can't call the room finished because finished means someone might walk in and notice what's wrong with it. Perfectionism gets mistaken for high standards. It isn't. High standards move you forward. Perfectionism keeps you circling the same 3 feet of ground. The doubter has a good idea and immediately talks herself out of it. Looks back at a choice she made, the pen color, the school she picked, the way she handled a hard conversation, and only sees what she'd do differently. She's not insecure in the way people mean that as an insult. She's just been trained for years to check her own instincts against everyone else's opinion first. The procrastinator, not lazy, waiting for the right time, for the right amount of certainty, the right sign that this is safe. The problem is the right time never quite arrives because there's no such thing. So she waits, and the waiting starts to feel like a decision of its own. The overfunctioner can't rest, can't ask for help, can't imagine handing something off because somewhere along the way she learned that being needed was the same thing as being loved. She has spent decades being indispensable to everyone, and she generally does not know who she is when nobody needs anything from her. Here's the question that matters more than which pattern you just recognized yourself in. What was that pattern protecting you from back when it started? None of these are random. Every one of them made sense at some point. They're just not working anymore. And that's the difference between a pattern and a personality trait. A trait is just who you are. A pattern is something you learned, which means it's something you can unlearn. So if you sat through the last few minutes and felt that small, uncomfortable sense of recognition, that's not a diagnosis. That's information. You are not lazy. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are running a pattern that made sense once, and you're allowed to look at it clearly enough to choose something different now. That's the whole idea behind what I'm building here at Tools to Thrive today. Not another list of things you're doing wrong. A real look at the patterns that keep good, capable, hardworking women stuck and what actually helps from here. If any of this sounds familiar, you might also want to go back and watch the video I made about anxiety and the mental load of always being on. It's a companion piece to this one. And a lot of these patterns and that anxiety comes from the same place. The full post is linked below in the description. And it's a great place to start. And if you want to be around other women doing the same work, come find us in the Thrive Hive. The link's in the description too. More on this soon. I'm glad you're here.